All right, so we're gonna get started. On this first one, we're doing it
right here.
I know we're doing it right now. On this first one, most people were really close. You just a couple people forgot. Remember when you square root it yourself? You also get the negative version. So your answer was 1.41 and negative 1.41. And a couple people just gave me 1.4, which was right, but I said give me 2 decimals.
I was half right.
Okay, the second one. Make sure you got your headphones out.
Just say it.
So this was from like a month ago.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna remember end-middle factoring.
No.
Nope.
I want to know what times what is 6.
Oh,
and add
yeah.
up the number in the middle.
Now I remember.
Yeah, I told you guys would be mad.
You know?
So don't worry, nobody got this one. That's fine.
You didn't get one.
So what times what is 6 adds up to 5?
6 times 1.
3
5 times
times
1.
2.
5 times 1.
There's 6 and negative 1.
Multiplies to 5.
Oh, multiplies to 5. Okay, then the
So
3
that
is
so 2 and 3, right? 2 times 3 is 6.
3, 2.
2 plus 3 is 5.
Nope, 3,
So
2.
to factor this, I get 2 parentheses, and we're going to do this more later. And it's going to be x plus 2.
Wait, we're doing this again?
Yeah,
Why?
you'll see.
We already did this. I mean, it's not
Yeah, but
hard.
we're going to do this, and we're going to add on to it.
Oh my god.
All right. So you remember like this first warm-up problem and stuff, we are finding solutions.
You recording?
Polynomials, yes. We're finding solutions to polynomials. So to start with, we're going to start with some easy ones, easier ones.
Oh, are we?
I want to know, what are the solutions of x plus 3 in parentheses, x minus 2 in parentheses, and it equals 0? We're going to use what's called the zero product property, which says...
Negative 3 plus 3 equals 0. Negative 2. Or
Yeah, we're getting ready to...
positive 2.
Hold up. Okay, we're going to use the zero product property, which says, for any real numbers, a and b, if a times b equals 0, so if you take 2 numbers, you multiply and be 0, one of them has got to be a 0.
Yeah, of course.
So, if you multiply 2 things, it equals 0, one of those is 0. So, if I'm going to look at these 2 parentheses, right? If I make this first parenthesis 0, does it matter what this one is?
No.
No, because it's going to equal 0. What about if I make the second parenthesis 0? Does it matter what the first one is?
No.
No. Because 0 times anything is 0. So, my solutions are, I'm going to look at each parenthesis individually, and I'm going to say, how can I make each parenthesis 0? How can I make x plus 3, right here, x plus 3, how can I make that equal 0?
Negative 3.
Negative 3, right? Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. Or I can say x plus 3 equals 0, solve it for x. Minus 3 on both sides, and I get x equals negative 3.
Don't do that. That's so much work. Just say it.
If you can just look at it and do it, that's fine. Okay, if I plug in negative 3 for x, negative 3 plus 3 up here is 0, right? I don't care what this is, because 0 times anything is 0. That means x equals negative 3 is my first solution.
Wow.
And then I'm going to do the same thing, but look at my second parenthesis. I have x minus 2, and I'm going to make that equal 0, and I need to figure out what can I plug in for this x to make the whole thing 0. So we're going to plus 2 on both sides. It's basically, we're just going to solve it for x. Remember,
You
x
should do the
equals
opposite of it.
2. Basically, yeah. So I have 2 solutions. I have x equals negative 3 is my first one, and x equals 2 is my second.
What a chump. That's not just 1.
What?
Oh, parentheses x equals negative 3 parentheses. Oh, no, that's added. No, no, no.
Don't be a wimp.
So I get x equals negative 3, x equals 2 for my 2 solutions. So, a thing to keep in mind, as you do this, you see how I have 2 x's up here? That means I need 2 answers. So, for every x, you're going to have an answer. So keep that in mind.
Oh, that hurt.
Alright,
What if
let's
it's
try
not
it.
x? What if it's a t?
It doesn't matter, it's the same thing. I usually use x, but it's just a variable.
Would it be negative 1 and positive 2?
Close. So, alright, so let's look at these. I need to look at each parenthesis, right? Let's look at the second one. I'm going to take t minus 2, and I'm going to say, how can I make that equal 0? Well, add 2 to both sides, and I get t equals 2, right?
Yeah.
Alright, that's my first solution. The second one is a little tougher. Not a lot tougher, but just a little bit.
Super tough. Can't do it.
It's not super tough.
Restart.
Not
Restart.
that bad.
Nope,
Not
restart.
that bad, man. Alright, I get 4t plus 1, right? 4t plus 1.
This is 14.
Do you common variables?
What?
The common variables or something like that. When it's t equals 2, and then you do the
I don't know which one.
Minus 4. Would you
Yes,
divide
they're
first?
separate things.
Oh.
Would you
So,
divide first or minus?
We were gonna minus first.
Minus.
So on this one, on my first one, it was easy. I just added 2 on both sides, right? This one, there's more than one thing. So I'm gonna minus 1 on both sides first.
Hold on, freshman.
I'm gonna get 4t equals -1. But I'm not quite done, because I gotta get rid of this times by 4 by doing the opposite, which is divide by 4. And I'm gonna get t equals, decimals are fine, -0.25. That's my second answer. So when I use my zero product property, I take each parentheses, I make it equal 0, and then I solve it for x or t or whatever it is.
You're literally doing what you taught us to do. Like he says it's gonna be a little more difficult, but
We're getting
It's
that.
not.
We're getting that. I don't know how to turn it off.
But it's not.
Keep it off. I'll take
let's
this
do C together.
Alright, so let's do maybe one more. Let's look at part B. Let's skip A. Let's look at part B real quick, then you guys are gonna try one. Alright, so in part B, let's start with the easy parentheses, x minus 4, right? We're gonna do x minus 4 equals 0. We're gonna add 4 to both sides.
And equals -4. Or 4.
X equals 4. That's my first answer. My second one is just a little tougher. Not a lot tougher, but just a little bit. So I get 2x
Minus
plus
3 divided by 2.
equals 0. Yep, that's what it's going to be. So we're going to have to solve it for x. We're going to minus
Hey, I
3.
can help you.
We're going to get 2x equals -3. And then we're going to divide it by 2. And we're going to get x equals -1.5
Try hard.
for my second answer.
Okay.
We're not on YouTube.
Oh wait, how'd you get 1.5?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Divided by 2.
It's like doing the order of operations except
Backwards.
yeah.
Mm.
It's like
Because-
PEMDAS, but
Yeah, PEMDAS backwards. That's exactly what we're doing.
I can't say it backwards.
Okay.
Sadden. It says SADMAP. We're doing SADMAP.
SADMAP.
PEMDAS backwards. SADMAP.
SADMAP.
I want you to try part C on your own.
Sure.
SADMAP. Maybe I can do SAMDAP.
It's just sad me.
Yeah. SADMAP.
2y divided by -1. Or 2 divided by -1. Now I'm gonna
What?
follow the Desmos.
-1 first, then divide by 2.
I always do that.
No, you did. You just said it backwards.
No.
Yeah, you said 2 divided by -1. You're right. You're right on your paper. You just said it backwards. Okay, keep going.
Is that right?
Wait, so what do I do then? I'm confused.
I'm confused.
Alright, you -1, right? How do you get rid of the 2?
Divide by -1. Oh yeah, divide by 2. Yeah.
Wait, go
It's
ahead.
0.5. That's it.
Negative
Oh,
0.5.
sorry. So it's make into negative, right?
Mm-hmm. So that's your first answer, right?
-1 divided by 2.
Negative 14?
Yeah, so y equals -14 by y equals. Okay, that's your first one. And then,
2.
Equals
so make it
Negative
equal 0.
0.5.
Make it equal 0.
negative.
And I'll solve it for y. So it's
Okay, I
just
put negative on my paper.
solve equation problems. So are you going to get rid of the 2
Next.
or the +1 first?
Plus 1.
Nope, I have
By
to do
doing the
second
opposite
in
backwards.
class.
So -1 on both sides. There you go.
Negative 1.
Oh, 2.
We still got these says.
There you go. You got it.
You've got it.
I don't know how I did it right.
Grab one.
There it is.
Nerd.
2 divided by 7.
What did I do?
Outrageous.
Y'all got 0.5.
Yeah, negative.
Yeah, I know,
But yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm just asking.
Alright, this is looking pretty good. Pretty good. We got one more part of it first, but we're almost
That's
there.
fine.
Shut up.
I broke my charger this weekend.
It's rough, man.
Oh yeah.
What'd you do?
We were playing UFC, and he I was beating him like I won like most of the matches, and then the one he wins, he's all yeah, throws the remote in the air and it was charging, so the thing bent.
Oh yeah, because they were saying like,
You have such great friends.
He kept beating me up and stuff, and then like, afterwards like I got him and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, and I was freaking like this, and
Alright.
took the charge.
Wait, what you
That sucks, man.
The newest one.
Alright, let's go through this. Ira, what'd you get for this first parenthesis right here?
Negative.
I'm about to do one.
Yeah, the very first one. Well, it was your second one.
Okay, negative 0.5. Negative 0.5.
Yep. So negative 0.5 or negative 0.5.
Oh, I keep track.
Lily,
of
what'd you get for
right here.
this parenthesis?
14.
Negative.
Negative.
Negative 14. Negative 14. Alright, nice job. We're gonna skip part D because you guys all got it. Alright, this is where the factoring part is gonna come in.
doing, D?
I finished these.
Okay, this is where the factoring part is gonna come in. So, I want to know, what are the solutions to the equation x squared plus 8x plus 15 equals 0? Do we see parentheses like we were working with before? No. We're going to make our own.
Oh, is it
We're
that
gonna
one we did last time?
End middle factor just like our warm-up. I want to know, what times what equals 15, the number on the end, and adds up to 8, the number in the middle.
3 and
Remember,
5.
in the middle.
3 and 5.
3 and 5, right? 3 times 5 is 15. 3 plus 5 is 8. So, I've got to make parentheses now.
X plus 3, X plus 5.
Yep.
We're done.
Now we do what we just did.
Okay.
Oh.
But these are usually really easy. What do I plug in for this one?
Negative 3.
What do I plug in for that one?
Negative 5.
There you go. So my two answers are x equals negative 3 and negative 5.
What if there's like X something or 4X or, you know? Then it'd be
For
different.
today, you won't have that. For this part.
Oh,
So it'll be
that'd
easy.
Fun.
Well, that's tomorrow. Well, no. Like Monday or Tuesday. Because we're going to practice this. Yeah, next week. We'll get to those. Remember AC factoring? The big 4-step thing?
Huh?
Yeah, remember
We're
AC
doing
factoring?
Oh, don't
Yeah.
even.
That's next week.
Oh,
Don't you worry, man. Next week.
wow.
Too much.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorta. We better slow
So,
down. He has
If
to learn.
you don't have parentheses, you have to end middle factor. For today, it's only end middle factoring, so don't worry about
Give
the
us the homework.
really long stuff. And then you have to find your 2 zeros. Alright, so let's do one more, then you guys will try one.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh, hey,
You're
we
not
just-
giving us the homework.
That's fine. You can tell her. She won't mind.
Okay.
Alright, I have m squared minus 5m minus 14. I want to know what times what equals negative 14 and adds up to the number in the middle, negative 5.
Negative 2, 7.
Alright, let's try it. Negative 2, 7.
Oh wait, no, negative 7, 2. Negative 7, 2.
Yep, because negative 2 plus 7 is positive 5. So we got the right numbers, we just got them, the signs flipped around.
You guys can say anything.
Alright, so we get x plus 2, x minus 7, and I gotta say, how do I make each parenthesis equal 0? And these
Negative
ones
2 positive
you
2.
can usually just look at and see them.
Oh, wait, 7.
Or you can solve them if you want to, but if you can just look at them, do them, that's great. So how about this first one? Negative 2. How about my second one? Positive 7. And that's it.
For a
Those are
second,
my,
that looked like a 2.
those are my two answers.
So your 7 looked like a 2 for a second. Like connect the line
Oh.
in the bottom part.
Yeah. Alright, do this bottom one on your own.
$5.
Nope. $100.
Exercise? Yes.
No, do this bottom one in the box.
Wait,
X squared plus 12x minus 13.
Nope. Homework.
Equals
Multiplies
0.
to the end, adds up to the middle.
Yes.
So multiply to negative 13, adds up to 12.
Wait, what? That's a decimal. Decimal. Nothing's speaking. Oh my god.
So, what times what is negative 13?
Nothing's a decimal.
Freaking suck.
13 and
One of them has to be negative, right? So,
Idiot.
Alright,
Forgot
it's
about
negative
that
15 plus 1 plus.
Yeah.
It's negative 12.
What? It equals 13.
So, it'll be 13 negative.
No, 32.
Equals 12. So, after we find those two numbers,
Yeah.
no, we
Do
need
x,
And then
we're gonna make parentheses.
Oh shoot. I don't know.
x plus 13.
Negative 13.
X.
So we must not make negative 13. No, we don't.
Delicious.
What is? So, what we get here is these.
Wait, the one's supposed to be negative, right? Okay. You said something. It confused them.
So what we do is after assigning students, we're gonna get two parentheses, and we have a whole list of students.
Yeah.
So, and it's always gonna be two parentheses, and it's always gonna start with an X or whatever. And my first one, I'll pick one. Now that I've done this, now I can say what
Yeah,
what am I
negative. No, it's.
Oh, no, try to give me the music.
When you answer these, you can just go
I
X.
think it's negative.
Oh, yeah.
I think
The parentheses are only when you put them. X.
How fair is this?
8 to 28 is even, we already did that.
Alright, let's go through this one. Roy, I'll get you caught up in a couple minutes. 'Cause
No.
we're done.
There's just. He was out here.
Okay. So let's go through DeAndre. What are your two parentheses?
What?
What are your two parentheses?
I remember when Far
Oh,
Cry 3 came out.
X plus 13. Or, yeah, plus 13 and X minus 1.
Okay. And Ira, what are your two answers?
No, I didn't. I'm still working on it.
Oh, well, hey, we got them set up right here.
Cool.
Oh, sad.
Negative 55.
Oh, man. We need to get help from a friend.
What are you talking about?
We talked about it's wrong.
You get X equals negative 13, positive 1. Alright. For your exit ticket, find your two solutions. I will turn on Socrative, answer in Socrative. I'll put your homework on Google Classroom here shortly.
Nope, right now.